Welcome to the most important journey you will ever undertake. This class is based on A Course in Miracles, a spiritual process that can assist and guide anyone to release fear and guilt, allowing health, joy, and peace of mind to return. The series is presented by Carol Howe, one of the first Course students, earliest Course teachers, and biographer of Bill Thetford, co-scribe of A Course in Miracles. Grounded in science and research, with decades of teaching and counseling experience, Carol is a world-renowned expert who will show you how to apply this material to all the circumstances of your daily life. Do you feel trapped by situations that seem endlessly unresolved? This session explores what we resist and why, and reveals the automatic transforming power of true acceptance, not resignation or selling out. Find out how it applies in even the most hopeless cases, proving it's never too late for change.
Now our official hello. This is our hard opening instead of our soft opening. Becky just said, well, what's the name of this? Because I send out messages that says this is segment number 5. It's called Acceptance, the Gateway to Transformation. Now, obviously, we cannot cover all the nuances in only 8 little classes that present themselves in the course, but we surely are trying to hit the highlights. And this has got to be one of the most important ones, not that the others aren't, but boy, got to pay attention to this one. The Course speaks, and we have spoken about the fact that the world in which we appear to live is a distortion of reality, and it's called a veil, an illusion, a mirage, something that's other than reality. And the truth of everything is unified. And most of us scratch our heads and say, it's really hard for me to get my mind around the ideas of this is not the ultimate reality and that we're all unified. And we're like, well, that's okay, because those are experiences, not concepts. The intellectual mind can say, yeah, I think I sort of believe that, but that doesn't allow an experience of it. However, the goal of the Course is our peace of mind, the quieting of our own minds. And it promises if you will do that part, then the rest will be taken care of. Not conceptually, not in trying to figure it out, but in the experience that peace of mind can lead us to. So, if you say, boy, I just can't buy into this world isn't the real world, can you at least buy into the idea that peace of mind would be a good idea? Would that be fair to say? And for us to have a settled mind where we're really at peace, we have to begin to adopt the idea that the world is harmless, that there's no loss in it, that there's no harm in it. Not a chance in the world that we can experience any peace if we have that sort of having to look around like, when is the next something going to get us? Would that make sense? The process of forgiveness, as the Course explains it to us, which is that insistence, that desire, that wanting to be in our right mind to see that everything is innocent. It says you will always get to see whatever you decide to see. And if you're in love with harm and loss, which most of us are apparently, because that seems to populate most people's worlds, then fine. But if you wish and desire and say, I'm willing to be in my right mind, then slowly, I wish we could do it quickly, but for most of us it's slowly, the world can become more and more benign that we live in, because our world is a subjective experience. Okay? So far so good? Now, we are told by the Course, and in other traditional religions as well, that we have as built into part of us, when we decided to leave home, set up our own shop, and be in competition with our source, which wasn't a good idea, but now that we have pursued it this far, here's where we are. What was placed in our minds is something that the Course and traditional Christianity calls the Holy Spirit. It's called the Comforter, the Guide, the way shower. It's called many things, but it's responsible for that feeling that we've all had, that there's something missing, that there is a longing, that there's a pull towards something else. It's a pull toward waking up. It's a pull back toward experiencing unity. And everyone here has experienced that, right? In other words, and some people say, no, not me. That's because they stay so addicted and so distracted and so busy, and their minds are so filled with clutter that it masks it, which is why people don't like to be quiet. They don't want things to settle where they can realize that a sense of longing for something undefined is there. The Holy Spirit, you might say, as part of its functionality, it reminds us of home. Now, the Course is very clear, saying that our source did not create harm and loss. And yet we say, oh, but look at all the harm and losses here. These are two irreconcilable positions, and one of them can't be true. You can't mix those two in the middle. And to remind ourselves a first cause, whatever you want to call where everything came from, whether you call it God or first cause or a source or a great mystery or we don't have any idea what, the way a creator creates is by extending itself. And the only thing it can extend are its own properties. It can't extend and thus create something that it isn't. Does that seem obvious? It can't create unlike itself if what it is an extension of itself. An example, sort of a strange example, might be if you pour your orange juice out of a pitcher into the glass, then what's in the pitcher and what's in the glass are the same because it got into the glass by being poured out from the pitcher. It was like creation is an outpouring, and it only outpours itself, and that does not include harm and loss. This represents our two benches that we had. So these are makeshift benches. I hope they won't mind if I step on them. I hope I stay upright if I stand on these benches. So from now on, I'm going to just pretend like I'm standing on these benches. And these two benches that we used the last time represented the two foundational belief systems out of which we operate. We've talked in our other sections about the fact that the world we tend to experience, at least most of us, most of the time, is a distortion of reality. It's not a real reality. There's reality with the capital R, and then here's where we appear to be. Now, a function of a first cause, which is going to be identified with this one, I will do a little jumping back and forth. A function of a first cause is that it causes something to happen. In other words, a cause has effects. So the ego mind, which is the handle to represent all these beliefs that we believe about ourselves and all of our conditioning that makes us think this is reality and we're really separate people unrelated to one another, this ego mind says, causation. I'll have myself some causation in my little fake world over here too. If that's a property of a first cause, I'll order myself up some of that. We've been conditioned to believe that things in the world, which is really a mirror, cause other things. And the Course keeps saying, no, they don't. Let's pretend like you can't sleep at night, and you have been taught that if you get up and drink milk in the middle of the night because it's got calcium in it, that will make you go to sleep, to just use an example. And so if you get up and you drink your milk and you do go to sleep, you'll say, see, this causes this. Well, those two events occurred, and so we make up all sorts of causation. Our whole world is built on pretending like things in the world cause other things, whether it's germs, whether it's finances, whether it's one person does something to somebody else, right? Okay, I have this mirror. Okay, so I want you to look in this mirror. Okay, and what can you see? Can you see your face?
I see my face.
Can you see your earrings?
Yes.
Okay, can you see your shirt?
A little teensy bit.
A little teensy bit of your shirt? Okay. What if you said, hey, you know what? My earrings cause this shirt to be blue. And you'd think,
I'm crazy.
She's gone crazy. Yeah. To pretend like something in the mirror causes something else. Now I have another thing that's larger to hopefully make this point. I swiped one of the pictures from off the wall, and it was in this other room. So we thought, okay, here's a couple of folks doing swimming and suntanning and so on. Can you all see this? Can all of you see this? It doesn't matter what it is. But if I earnestly said to you, you know what? This blue towel that this girl's lying on is making this water be blue. See? This is making this be blue. You would say that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Somebody painted this picture as a whole unit. Nothing in this picture causes anything else in the picture. It's all one picture painted by somebody that's not in the picture. Painted by a somebody. And so our world is very much the same way. It's a moving picture, a very much more sophisticated picture, but nonetheless a picture painted by, if we want to use that analogy, my own inner state of mind. The things I'm focusing on, the things I'm valuing, the things I'm paying attention to. Does that make sense to you when you see, we would consider it insane if we said this element of a picture caused this element of a picture, and yet we think it's perfectly sensible to say, I can't get a job because someone else is not going to let me have a job. Can you make that transition, at least theoretically? Okay, so we're told that there are fundamentally two different thought systems and no more.